October 13th doesn't just mark the PlayStation VR's anniversary. For us, it marks another year of great releases, immersive games, and the time when all of us here at Without Parole look back over the last 365 days and, with all of you, try to determine the best PSVR games of the year. And we're thrilled to announce that you showed up in record numbers to vote this year. In fact, we had over 5 times the number of voters from last year. But that's not the only difference for the 2019 award show. This time we partnered up with our good friends over at Perp Games to give this show a level of polish I never could have achieved on my own in such a short amount of time. And while I have your attention, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone watching, to all the Game Cats, to everyone who supported us, to all the award winners, and to every single person I reached out to who wrote back and was excited to be part of this show. You made this happen, and I love you all for it. And with all that out of the way, it's time to get excited, because this is the 2019 PlayStation VR Awards Show. Presenting the award for Best Puzzle Game, that guy is Will VR.
Hey guys, it's Will here. Thanks for having me on the show to present the best PSVR puzzle game of 2019. The term puzzle game brings to mind everything from point-and-click adventures to escape rooms to simply matching colors on a Rubik's Cube. But in VR, puzzle games have the ability to transport us to strange alien worlds, ask us to throw magical blocks at alternate versions of ourselves, or even decipher foreign languages to solve their riddles. But not all puzzle games are created equally. So let's take a look at the ones that were the most memorable of the year. These are the nominees for the best PlayStation VR puzzle games of 2019.
Transposed by Secret Location. Tetris Effect by Enhanced Games.
Be careful, Epsilon.
Red Matter by Vertical Robot. Zing: The Land Beyond by White Lotus Interactive. Witching Tower by Daily Magic Productions.
And the winner is... Squishies! That's not right. The winner is Tetris Effect by Enhanced Games. Tetris has come an extremely long way since the original Game Boy era, when millions of gamers first wrapped their minds around the block-following puzzle game. It has spawned around countless iterations, knockoffs, and reinventions over the years. But Tetris has never been more impressive than when we finally got to experience it in VR. Congratulations, Enhanced Games.
All the pets have gone missing, and I think you know who's behind it. Touch the painting and enter the dream. Oh, look, there's my old summer house, and there you are. You and your sister always argue.
Presenting the award for Best Sports Game, Ray Wilmot.
Video games have been punctuated with annual updates since the early 90s for every sport imaginable. So it's actually kind of remarkable that we don't have more sports games in VR, like a FIFA VR or MLB The Show, even a cup stacking VR. But despite the fact that EA and San Diego Studios haven't brought any of their AAA licensed trademark titles to the hardware, we still have plenty of games that make us feel like an athlete from the comfort of our own room on PlayStation VR. That said, here are the nominees for the best PlayStation VR sports game of 2019.
Box VR by FitXR.
More huge environments to explore.
Rush VR by Next Gen Reality.
Dominate the leaderboard.
Racket Fury by Pixel Edge Games. Everybody's Golf VR by Japan Studio and Clap Hands. Dream Match Tennis VR by Bimbusoft.
And the winner is Everybody's Golf VR by Japan Studio and Clap Hands. Everybody's Golf has been a PlayStation staple going all the way back to the PlayStation 1 and has often looked, played and felt better than any of the bigger name golf titles on the market. Bringing the series into VR was a brilliant move, and it came with perfect tracking, beautiful courses, and it still managed to blend an arcade style experience with simulation mechanics into a fun game that anyone can enjoy. Massive congratulations to Japan Studio and Clap Hands for a well-deserved award. Enjoy the rest of the show.
こんにちは。みんなのゴルフ VR アソシエイトプロデューサーの荒木です。この度はベストスポーツ賞をいただき、とても光栄に思います。ゴルフという奥深いスポーツを VR によって誰でも手軽に楽しめる世界を作り上げたクラップハンズさん、それをプレイしていただいたファンの皆さん、そして賞をくださった PSVR Without Parole さんに感謝しています。ありがとうございました。
Presenting the award for Best Multiplayer, Christopher Shug.
Hey guys, it's Chris from Shughead Gaming, and I'm extremely proud to be one of your presenters for the 2019 PSVR Video Game Awards. For a lot of us, there are two eras when it comes to video games. Everything before PlayStation VR and PlayStation VR. Before PSVR, there were obviously a ton of online multiplayer games, but since VR makes everything better, the appeal to hop online and race, challenge, or shoot our friends in the face is more attractive than ever. Standing beside your opponents or your co-conspirators in VR makes them seem more real, like the people they really are. Anyways, these are the nominees for the best multiplayer game on PlayStation VR.
No Man's Sky Beyond by Hello Games. Honor and Duty D-Day by Strange Game Studios.
Are ye brave enough to join the fray?
Battlewake by Servios.
Over 90 tracks to master.
Rush VR by Next Gen Reality.
More huge environments to explore.
Space Junkies by Ubisoft Entertainment.
And the winner is No Man's Sky Beyond by Hello Games.
Sure, we love shooting our friends in the face, but it's way more fun to hop into our respective starships and explore the galaxy, take on nasty space pirates, and build huge planetary bases together.
No Man's Sky is an endless adventure, and it's so much better with friends. Congratulations, Hello Games.
Presenting the award for Best Update, John Riggs.
A lot of us roll our eyes when we think about mandatory game updates, and let's face it, usually the first thing that comes to our mind are day one patches. Just part of the world we live in. But they almost always make the games better, a more enjoyable experience. And you never hear anyone complaining about new maps to play on, or free DLC, or a PlayStation 4 Pro patch, or even aim support. All of the games in this category may not have come out over the last year, but within the last year, they've had at least one huge game-changing update. These are the nominees for the most significant update. Gran Turismo Sport by Polyphonic Digital.
Behind you. Data transfer.
Firewall 0 Hour by First Contact Entertainment.
Under 6, skip.
Moss by Polyarc. Beat Saber by Beat Games. Borderlands 2 VR by Gearbox Software. And the winner is Borderlands 2 VR by Gearbox Software. Getting an amazing version of Borderlands 2 for the PlayStation VR was already something we were excited about, But when the studio went the extra mile again and again to bring us aim support and 16 pieces of massive DLC for free, it really proved their commitment to their game. And to PlayStation VR gamers everywhere. Congratulations, Gearbox Software!
Hello, Vault Hunters. On behalf of the Borderlands 2 VR development team and all of Gearbox Software, we'd like to thank you for giving us this award.
You helped make the DLC update and the aim controller update happen. When the game came out, you went online and posted all of your feedback. We read it all, good and bad, and that's what helped make it great. Thank you.
Thank you for playing BL2 VR and for voting for us. Happy hunting.
Later, guys.
Presenting the award for Best Soundtrack, Dave Station VR.
They say that, when implemented well, music in movies and video games should be barely noticeable. It should subtly add to the overall feeling of what you're playing or watching, but not much more. And for your average video game soundtrack, that's just fine. But the games that we're recognizing for this year's 2019 Best Soundtrack Award have gone so far above and beyond, with soundtracks that are perfectly tailored to the games that accompany them and so well done that they practically steal the show. This year's nominees for Best Soundtrack on a PlayStation VR game are Beat Saber by Beat Games, Ghost Giant by Zoink Games, Zing the Land Beyond by White Lotus Interactive, Blood and Truth by Sony London Studios, and Tetris Effect by Enhance Games. And the winner of this year's Best Soundtrack Award for PlayStation VR is Tetris Effect by Enhance Games. The master of synesthesia, Tetsuya Mizuguchi, is back at it again, this time armed with one of the biggest licenses in history. The classic gameplay of Tetris is combined with stunning visuals and, of course, the best soundtrack of the year to create an experience that practically requires a VR headset and headphones to fully appreciate. Congratulations to Enhance Games.
Presenting the award for Best Horror Game, AJ.
At Without Parole, we love to celebrate Halloween all year long. But when October finally rolls around and we're surrounded by haunted houses, scary movies, and gruesome costumes, it feels like the rest of the world is finally on board with us. But here's the thing. When it comes to VR games, horror games are a dime a dozen, so finding the best one is never an easy task. Here are the nominees for the best PSVR horror game of 2019.
But the serpent.
Chair in a Room, Greenwater by Wolf and Wood Interactive.
He stopped to look what lies beneath.
Immortal Legacy, The Jade Cipher by Viva Games. Intruders, Hide and Seek by Tessera Studios. Home Sweet Home by Yggdrasil Group.
I wanted to record a message for you.
Five Nights at Freddy's VR, Help Wanted by Scott Cawthon.
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There's really nothing to worry about.
And the winner is Five Nights at Freddy's VR, Help Wanted. This VR update to the mobile game series is the most immersive and scariest Five Nights yet. No matter how many times we play, or how good at each night we get, the tension of sitting in Freddy Fazbear's security office just never lets up, and for that, we're eternally thankful. Congratulations, Scott Cawthon.
Guys, huge news. What happened? We totally won an award. Which award? Without Parole's Best Horror PSVR Game, voted in by the Game Cats. That's awesome. That's totally awesome. Did you play the game? I totally played the game. Pretty good game. It's an awesome game. Thanks, guys, for voting us in. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned. We have more Help Wanted VR content coming your way.
Presenting the award for Best Narrative, Jamie Feltham.
Now, the heart and soul of any good adventure is the story it tells along the way. Now, video games have famously struggled to spin a good yarn over the years, and just as it looked like developers were getting it, VR throws them a curveball. Fortunately, in 2019, we have some great narratives to talk about. Here are the nominees for Best Narrative in a PSVR game. Ghost Giant by Zoink Games. Table of Tales by Tin Man Games.
Sword fighting and alchemy.
LA Noire: The VR Case Files by Rockstar Studios. Groundhog Day: Like Father Like Son from Tequila Works.
Bill Jr.
And Trover Saves the Universe by Squanch Games. And the winner is Ghost Giant. Now, congratulations, because Ghost Giant is one of my favourite VR projects of 2019. It has an incredible narrative that at first seems light-hearted, but isn't afraid to tackle mature subjects. In fact, it comes at them in an angle that you haven't seen in video games before, so well done to Zoink Games, because this one's really well deserved.
Hi, my name is Sarah B. Elfgren, and I'm the writer of Ghost Giant. And on behalf of Zoink, the Ghost Giant team, and myself, I would like to say to all the game cats who voted for us on PSVR Without Parole, thank you so much for this award. It really means the world to us. We worked really hard on this game to create an immersive story, Thank you for receiving it with open hearts and open minds. Much love from Sweden, from all of us to all of you.
Is this working? Good. I'm Captain Brenda. Everything that's happened, only Miguel and I are left. I came from the main camp, the one in the temple in the big city. I left Safla and the results of our research there with Miguel.
She said something about a city? How is that possible?
Hold it! Who are you?
Calm down. We heard your SOS. We're Gaina. We came to help. The planet is withering. When our species approaches its end, while we kill each other over the few remaining resources. Humanity needs guidance. It needs the gainer to guide it.
PlayStation.
Presenting the award for Best Art Design, Ian Higton.
Greetings, Game Cats, and thank you so much for inviting me along to present the award for Best Art Design. Now, sometimes great art design isn't about having the best, highest fidelity graphics with the sharpest textures. In fact, often with this first generation of PlayStation VR hardware, amazing graphics aren't what make you look around and say, wow. Rather, it's the stylized, artistic vision of the development team coming to fruition right before your eyes, which, of course, always seems a bit more real in VR. You'd be hard-pressed to lump these 5 games into any other category together, but as far as PSVR goes, they stand above and beyond in the realm of pure artistic talent. So, without further ado, these are the nominees for Best Art Design. Derasine by From Software. Witching Tower by Daily Magic Productions. Fisherman's Tale by Inner Space VR.
Fuck up, Trover. No one needs to hear your commentary about everything.
Trover Saves the Universe by Squanch Games.
Fuck! Gotta eat some shit. Piss.
Before we go on vacation, we need to make sure you look relaxed.
Vacation Simulator by Alchemy Labs.
Listen to your inner power supply.
And the winner is Trover Saves the Universe by Squanch Games. You didn't see that one coming, did you? But Trover oozes style from beginning to end and has a look all of its own. From the ridiculous character designs and animations to the exotic cartoon locales, we were always wondering where Trover would take us next, and we were never, ever disappointed. Congratulations, Squanch Games!
Hey, I'm Mikey, art director on Trover.
Thanks to all the game cats for awarding Trover Saves the Universe Best Art Design in the PSVR game. And thanks Without Parole for nominating us. And it's not just a PSVR game, it's also a regular PlayStation game. Go buy it, go tell your friends. We're starving, dying.
Presenting the award for Most Immersive World, Nathy.
Exploring new worlds, and whether it be alien planets, different dimensions, or faithful recreations of popular cities. In the end, that is one of the best things about video games. But in VR, it takes exploration and turns it up a notch. Even better so, it lets you immerse in a game. It gives you the chance to inhabit your surroundings. So let's check out the best ones that really pulled us in, gave us the chance to explore, and rewarded us for doing so. Anyways, I am proud to announce the nominees of the Most Immersive World of 2019. L.A. Noire, The Case Files by Rockstar Studios.
She was looking around in her bag.
Then we have In Death by Solvar Studios.
Codename will be Epsilon.
Red Matter by the one and only Vertical Robot. No Man's Sky by Hello Games.
The spirits were to blame.
Xing, The Land Beyond by White Lotus Interactive. And the winner is... Can I have a little drum roll, please? Are you ready? Well, the winner is... The winner of the Most Immersive World of 2019 is No Man's Sky by Hello Games. Congratulations, well done, and I think also well deserved. I mean, exploring an infinite number of planets is absolutely incredible. But I'm not gonna lie, nothing beats that moment you jump into that spaceship and you launch yourself into space and start exploring all those beautiful hidden secrets and the surprises the universe has in store for you. Again, congratulations, Hello Games, and I would also say to all the other developers that were in this list, you should be very proud of yourselves, okay?
Presenting the award for Best Action Game, Greg Miller.
For years, video games have allowed you to perform all sorts of unbelievable feats. We've been double jumping to ridiculous heights, we've saved thousands of princesses, and even the most generic games allow us to leave thousands of corpses in our wake. And when you take all of that into first-person VR, it becomes something even more intense. So let's take a look at the games that made us feel like a badass this year. These are the nominees for Best PlayStation VR Action Game of 2019.
Some time with the family. Mum!
Oh, for God's sake, what did I...
Blood and Truth by London Studio.
Nice use of that special force.
Let's do this.
Sirento VR by Mixed Realms. Borderlands 2 VR by Gearbox Software.
Miss me, sugar?
Battle Wake by Servios.
There's good winds today. Try to catch them so we can speed ahead.
In Death by Soulfar Studios. And the winner is Blood and Truth by London Studio. With a ton of over-the-top action sequences and firefights seemingly ripped straight out of a summer blockbuster, Blood and Truth delivers non-stop adrenaline-pumping action. This is what VR was made for. Congratulations, London Studio.
Hi, it's Stuart White here from PlayStation London Studio. I just want to say thank you so much for the award for Best Action Game of the Year. Thanks to everyone who voted, and thanks to PSVR Without Parole.
Presenting the award for Best Overall Game, Brian Paul. I'm not sure who put me in charge of handing out the award for Best Overall PlayStation VR Game of 2019. Shh, it was me. But to be here in the company of my friends, co-hosts, and some of the biggest names in the industry really puts things into perspective. Because in the end, it's not about how many subscribers your YouTube channel has, or what big name website you write for. We're all here because of the games. And even more importantly, the hundreds, if not thousands of people who spent years of their lives spending all of their creative energy to get those games delivered to us. And as much as I wish we could give an award to every game mentioned here on the show tonight, we actually have to finish off by doing the complete opposite and handing out one final award to the best of the best. These are the nominees for Best PlayStation VR Game of 2019. Beat Saber by Beat Games. Tetris Effect by Enhance Games.
That you'll never see. Come follow me.
No Man's Sky Beyond by Hello Games.
I love my day job, but it's always nice to come home.
Blood and Truth by London Studio.
Family. Mum.
Oh, for God's sake, what did I do? Who's ready for a mother humping tea party? Freestyle!
Borderlands 2 VR by Gearbox Software. And the winner is No Man's Sky Beyond by Hello Games. From the moment we stepped out onto our first planet in No Man's Sky over 3 years ago, all we could say over and over was, how amazing would this be in VR? But we honestly never thought it would be possible on current-gen hardware. Hello Games has performed a minor miracle with the PlayStation VR patch, and life hasn't been the same since. So congratulations to Hello Games for the award, all the changes you've made to No Man's Sky throughout the years, and all the success that came with it. I don't know. Do we have audio is the question. For whatever reason, I don't know if we have audio. It's really strange. Check, check, check. Looks like I have audio, but for some reason, you guys are not coming through on... Check, check. Give me a check. Best laid plans, right? Is how it works. Of course, of course, the stream started as a mess too. So it only makes sense that this continues. It follows suit. Let's see here. Let's see if I can't get. Okay, let's see if this works here. Give me a check, guys. Ah, this is insane. Oh, unfortunately. This has actually never happened before. If you can believe it, it's never been brand new. It's somebody said what? There we go. Let's try this. Try this. Nope. Oh, this is insane. This is maddening. Maddening. After all of that, I thought the normal thing we do every single Thursday would work. You'd think we'd at least have this down. Or I'd at least. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I wish you guys could like at least talk amongst yourselves as I try to figure this out, but of course not really the case here. You know what it might be? I think I know what it is. Everyone stay put real quick. I think I know what the problem is. Let's do this. Maybe. There we go.
Check one,
and we
check
go back
two.
over here and come here, you guys.
Checking one,
check.
You know what's great now is that they can hear you, but I can't.
Oh, incredible!
So, guys, you talk amongst
yourselves.
That's going to be good. Talk about, I want to hear your initial
here's
impressions
what I want to say.
while I try to figure out what's going on here.
My initial impression is that you knocked it out of the park. That was insane. You did such a good job on that thing. Also, I can see your Discord settings on the screen. Anyways, dude, all the people you got, the way you edited it, you got Ian Higton from Eurogamer as a power baby. Like, incredible. It was so good.
Yeah, Ian, I mean, great job, Dave. We started off with Will.
And now he has a face, actually.
Yes, now you all know what Will looks like. You're welcome. Great job, Will. No, but definitely some surprise guests, even some surprise. I didn't want to see everything that was going to happen. I was like very much trying to have some of the surprise myself and whatnot. And man, there were definitely some good ones. Let's see. David is overpriced.
I know, Kev. Listen, I just told you in chat. We don't talk shit about Accounting Plus around these parts. Also,
Kev is grumpy today. He's not on his. But yeah. Hopefully, Brian will in just a second. Brian can't hear us, so he's fixing that real quick.
It's a great time here without Parole. We're used to this stuff. We can see his Discord settings again. That's good. All right, hold on. In the meantime, we got wait. That's for you, Cole Robinson. That was a phenomenal live show and one of the best and greatest put together shows I have seen in forever. I couldn't have said it better myself. This was such a good show, Brian. Can't wait for 2020. This is for the Duncan you always seem to have. So that's Coffee Fund. And then, AJ, you want to do the next one?
Oh, man. Chaplain Cat, my dude, says, love you guys. Keep it up. We sure will, man.
Absolutely.
But big shout out to everybody who joined the Discord and voted. Definitely lots to talk about in terms of not only the show. We had presenters. We had
some crazy Greg Miller. I didn't even mention that yet. Brian, how the hell you got to introduce me to Greg Miller? That's crazy.
Crazy. What you call it? I mean, we had presenters, gameplay footage that we got to show. And guys, just so you know, a lot of the gameplay footage is early stuff. So I kept seeing some stuff being like, oh, you know, it looks blah blah blah. Yes, that's because it's early footage. But we just figured there's no better time and place for some of these devs to go ahead and start throwing their stuff out there. And
some of that stuff looked really good, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
I mean,
what are you most excited out of the pack that we saw? Like,
well, honestly, I mean, all of them. There's a couple I really liked. Echoes. There's that.
Okay. Oh, I'm back. So that's good. We're almost there. Almost there.
Award for the best mute show, somebody said in the
And
chat.
I think I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong.
Can you hear us all?
We're back up and running. Whew.
Can you hear us?
How bad does this microphone sound? Okay, is it awful?
Yeah, that's great. That's fine to me.
Wow. Okay. So again, right? So absolute craziness, right? So the show started off and it was an absolute mess. Everybody had the wrong link. YouTube Studio Beta totally screwed me, right? And then and then of course now we get to this and it's a total mess. But now everything, just like Without Parole always does, we always find a way. Just like Jurassic Park, just like dinosaurs, just like life.
I was gonna say that.
That's why I love you. We find a way, and now we've done it. So what did I miss? What did I miss out on the switching cable conversation?
We were just talking about how great you are and what a great job you did and how cool all the games look. And now I can't hear you anymore.
You can't hear me?
So now I can.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was getting nervous.
Yeah, Brian. We want to break down the entire show, starting from the very first award to the very last reveal.
Oh, all right.
So first of all, I want to say a huge shout out to Marco, who I worked with over at Perp Games, and he would anytime you saw a cool animation, like the trophy rotating, the trophy design, he even chose the font for the whole. This dude has some innate design talent, and so when Ray from Perp Games and Mickey from Perp Games hooked me up with him to work on this show, I was like, I had my fingers crossed. You never know what to think of somebody else's vision, and man, this dude had it, and I ton of respect for him, and I'm so glad I got to work with him for this show.
Yeah, it was very slick. I mean, so good. I don't know what to say. It just looked great, and it was very well edited. I've been trying to say this the whole time.
Thank you.
But the way that you put Ian from Eurogamer into the Power Baby Eye was my favorite piece of editing you've ever done in my life.
Well, then you can thank Ian. Because
did he do that himself?
He did it himself. I really didn't do a lot of
Ian,
editing.
You're a madman.
I didn't do a lot of editing. I took the videos that people gave back to me, and that's pretty much what you see. If any, Will did all that crazy stuff behind him. So I mean, I'm mad, a ton of respect to you guys and everyone else who were presenters, because I can't believe that everyone came through. I'm gonna turn my fan off real quick here just to alleviate some background noise. But I want to go through this piece by piece.
Oh yeah.
Can we start with Greg Miller?
No, we are starting.
that's the end
for best puzzle game, who is presented by that guy is Will. Everybody knows and loves him.
But now everyone knows and loves his face.
Yeah.
Yes, and we do. And I was seeing lots of comments about, oh my God, he's a normal looking person and he's not a squishy.
Normal's pushing it.
We all thought, we'd expect to see like a squishy. Oh, and he had to give. So he presented Best Puzzle Award, went to Tetris Effect. There were some really great nominees in there. Zing, Red Matter. That really could have gone either way. But yeah, I mean, Tetris Effect certainly got its revenge this show.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
$40 for Tetris. Sorry. I get so tired of people saying that.
But yeah, I mean, great job, Will. And he had to throw in a Squishies reference. I was like, no, he did not.
It wouldn't be Will if he didn't do it. So
I rolled my eyes so hard when I got that video. I was just like, are you kidding me? How did he manage to get it into an award show where Squishies wasn't nominated? But yeah, no, you got to love Will, and that was sort of last year's award show. What we
Texotron, the indoor cat, with a $5 donation says, Brian, you killed it. Thank you for everything you guys have done for the community. Thank you, Texotron. And yeah, Brian, you did a great job. He's right.
Listen, let me just scroll back a little bit. For the people who tipped recently, Chapulin Cat, he said, love you guys, keep it up, $10 donation. Cole Robinson, $10. That was phenomenal live show, one of the best and greatest put together shows I've ever seen. Did you guys already do this?
Wrong.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did?
We
did that already.
So just shout out to everybody who sent a tip during the show, before the show, after the show. Really appreciate it. This has cost me a lot of time and money, and I just so glad that it came out as well as it did. Very happy. And I love seeing, it's always nice seeing like all the, the old school game cats in the comments, in the chat, but seeing a bunch of new names is really exciting too. It's like our community keeps getting bigger and expanding. And I was so happy to see that it was a nice mix of cats tonight.
And if you guys are new members, check out the Discord in the link below. We hang out there all the time. That's where we did the voting on this award show. And you want to be on the Discord for sure.
And so, but as far as Will's concerned, Will was one of those guys I actually asked to do the show last year, and he didn't have any video recording equipment then, or he wasn't equipped at that point to do it. So I was just, he was one of the first people I reached out to, just kind of like a continuation of last year. So if people are like, oh, where's Polish Paul? Where's this person? It doesn't mean we don't love them to death, right? It just means we're trying to give you a different show this year than we gave you last year. Next year, AJ and Dave won't even be on it.
Let go of me!
Thank God.
JD Max the Game Cat with a $25 donation. JD, you're crazy. Congrats on a great show. Meow to you all. Meow to you,
back
sir.
To you, sir. Right on.
JD was at work, so really great to see you there, JD. Glad you could join us.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of push the limits with the show a little bit. I remember, so I love talking inside baseball as far like when it comes to.
Can I interrupt
yes,
you briefly?
You can. Of course you can.
Will said the truth is that I was too shy to do it last year. I had all of the equipment. Sorry, LOL. He lied to you.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's funny.
So what were we talking about?
Sorry, that was a big reveal. That was a huge reveal.
No, it was a big reveal. So I was okay. So yeah, like I said, inside baseball, I love. Oh, hey, Polish Paul's in the chat. What's up, dude? So we wanted, I was talking to AJ literally days ago, saying, it sucks that we didn't get, everything that we wanted to get for the show. But I was like, man, I wonder if we could get like a reveal or two, like if we could maybe contact some of these developers and see if they had, maybe games that we've seen before on PC and they finally have PSVR footage to show, or, it's a game that we were interested in, but we haven't seen footage or trailers or whatever. We were thinking, we get a couple, reach out and see who responds. Man, it's like everybody we reached out to responded. And it was so nice to see. I mean, especially the fast travel games with Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets, right? I mean, obviously very PSVR footage. You could tell because it was taken with the share button with the circles around the edge. And it was so awesome that they responded and they wanted to show off footage of their game. I mean, that looks like one of those indie games that you just really, really can't wait to play.
Okay, so Bel Ramyo, the game cat.
Get away from my body, no! Help!
He says, I'm just trying to find out if I want one of those Tree Guy plushies, so I figured the best way is to make Dave hit him to hear more sounds. Great award show. Thank you, Bel Ramyo, with a £10 donation. I'll hit him one more time just for you.
This is not fair!
Actually, since Bel Ramyo sent us a tip, I gotta say, I was pretty sure that he was kind of behind on the show. He was watching. He was like 10 minutes behind the rest of us because he was commenting on echoes when we were way past it. And I was like, oh, I'm like, let's wait for him to get caught up. So thank you, Fast Travel, for sharing that footage with us, man. Like, we're super
looks
excited
awesome.
for that one.
I've been hearing really good things about that game from like all the first impressions, people that played it at like Gamescom, and I think maybe even E3 is when it was first revealed, I believe. And all the impressions I've been hearing have been really good on that. So, and we know Fast Travel, they make pretty good stuff. So definitely excited for that one.
As long as there's no typing on a keyboard, like, I'm so down. Like,
I don't think there is.
Yeah, I will say, as far as the new footage that you guys rolled out, there were some games in there I've never even heard of or thought about, like Don't Look Down. Where'd that come from? That was crazy.
I've actually been following them for quite a while. The second I kind of heard whispers that it might come to PSVR, I started following them and have been trying to stay on top of them ever since.
But Echoes cool. Do we want to go through all that, or wait?
Let's go through step by step.
Stay in order so we don't get lost and don't forget anything.
All right.
And so obviously with Perp's involvement in the show, I want to really like bring something from Perp, to the forefront, and raise my dude over there. Like he is very much the face, the voice of Perp. And if you guys ever reach out for a key, he's the one that usually gets back to you. I think he manages their Twitter account. And so I was talking to him and we were working out some details, and
you can't squeeze me anymore. Help!
That's you want to read it off?
Fear to Power 666. It's a nice donation for all your hard work. It's not much, but we appreciate the effort gone into the content. Much love right back to you, Beard of Power. I was gonna say sir or madam, but I'm figuring the beard gives it away.
Yeah.
So getting Ray in front of the camera was like a big deal for me. I wanted, you see the Perp logo all the time, but and now that they're doing a Perp cast, you hear his voice, but you don't get to see the faces all the time behind the names. So I was really, really happy that he agreed to do this.
Yeah, really awesome job, Ray. Great to see you, and keep up the great work over there at Perp Games. Really, we hear all the time how many people love physical editions of games. So as you guys know, they've got like the biggest one I know of is like Golem, but then they're going to have, of course, Walking Dead and Battle Wake from Servios. Great partnership over there. So tons of more physical editions to look forward to for sure from them.
Yeah, I feel like between Perp and Limited Run, they're like the only people putting out physical PSVR games, and they're doing a great job. So shout out to all you guys over there. Like, keep it up.
So if you want more, keep supporting them.
Yeah. And so, of course, he was giving away the award for Best Sports Game. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, all of the sports games in that category were great. I think it's kind of hard to talk poorly about any of the games that were talked about on the show tonight. Because they're if they're up for an award, they're obviously the best of the year.
Right.
But man, I just feel like Racket Fury got screwed in this because the multiplayer update didn't come out until after the voting, and so that would have been the only competition, I think, because everybody's golf is so polished.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a fun game. Everybody could pick it up and play it. It's like so accessible, and it's just, besides the caddies who won't shut up, it's great. I love it.
I wouldn't even come close to even thinking that Racket Fury got screwed in any way, because the support and love for everybody's golf, minus the no multiplayer and stuff, has been overwhelming. I mean, every time, even when we were voting on the top 20, like, that game gets tons of votes. I mean, people love just to sit there, relax, golf, and enjoy it. And there's definitely, like I said, all the games are pretty good.
Don't do this without me, though.
We won't do it without you. I can only imagine what he's doing. Oh, he's actually Dave takes commands well.
Yeah,
I like this.
But really great job, and to have the presenter.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Is when you reach out to people and you tell them, hey, you won an award on PSVR without Parole. That's what most people respond. They go, who the fuck are you? No, that's for her original Uberwitch, the game cat. He says, put that blazer on, sir. Thank you.
I said I would, and I did.
Thank you for obliging, David. Appreciate it. That was one of my favorite acceptance speeches, just because I've never heard PSVR without Parole said in Japanese, and that was
that was insane.
Really nice.
Awesome.
I like
really
that.
Nice. that team, I got to give a big shout out to that whole team over there at Clap Hands. They are some of the nicest people I've ever talked to. And, you know, the fact that they did this just last second, I mean, they're a big company. They're not a small deal. I've been playing, I've been playing Everybody's Golf, Hot Shots Golf for like 20 years. Yep. So for them to, you know, show up and show some support and love is really awesome. And just couldn't be more deserving of that award for sure.
Yeah. And then we did get a little bit more Boiling Steel footage. It's
right.
You know, that game, I just feel like it's really, really far out. And I've, you know, and some of the footage that was sent to me from some of these companies, I almost said, you know, maybe it's not quite ready for prime time. But man, just to be able to get the word out about, hey, here's a little bit of something you might be interested in. I was really, really happy to be able to show that off.
It looked cool to me, man. Cyberpunk combat, kind of like another little Sorrento deal, and you know, Mirrorwind. They make games. They release their game pretty cheap. The Bulletproof and what is it? Bullets and Stories? Guns
and Stories. Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. I knew they were developers from something we'd already had before, so it's Guns and Stories.
Yeah.
Right. But for them to be making a Cyberpunk game, I'm all in. I'm always down for that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, regardless of what you might think, you know, there's the spectrum of opinions on Guns and Stories Bulletproof is pretty big. Regardless of where you fall on that, it's hard to say. You know, like the guns weren't imaginative, and like there wasn't, you know, the levels weren't refined and stuff. So I have a ton of faith in these guys. By the time this game comes out, it's going to be, you know, obviously much more polished.
Yeah, I think the only problem they had was that there's a lot of other games that are sort of in the same ballpark. And so once you are a drop in the bucket and people have already played these games, like I think this looks more different than Guns and Stories, like more unique in terms of the VR landscape. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And so that kind of brought us to the Best Multiplayer Award.
Shuggy!
Shug. I had no idea what Shug looked like.
I didn't either. Yeah. I had no idea. And I thought it was awesome when I got the video from him, and I just wanted to tell him so bad how appropriate that Kind of Funny shirt was.
Yeah,
you know,
but you couldn't let it slip.
Nope.
Yeah,
couldn't let it slip. And so seeing him, it was nice. It was nice. You know, I feel like here's a person that we've been interacting with for a year or two now, and to know what he actually looks like, it kind of brings everybody a little bit closer. You know.
This blazer is very warm, so I'm going to take it off. But if anyone else tips, I'll put it back on for a minute or two.
I do want to say real quick, just to backtrack just a little bit, make sure you guys go subscribe to That Guy Is Will VR and do Perp Games. You can subscribe to them too, and subscribe to Shughead Gaming is his channel.
Absolutely.
Want to make sure we get them. They helped us out on a whim, so want to make sure we support them too, because we're all just one big PSVR family.
That's right. A lot of love for all the PSVR YouTubers out there.
Everybody out there. Yep.
Yeah. So he gave away the Best Multiplayer. And let's see.
This one was pretty close, I think. I think it was between Honor and Duty and No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough when you put No Man's Sky into any category because
it's going to win. It's always going to win no matter what you do. It's
right.
I mean, this is one of those things where I remember, and we're going to talk about this at a later date extensively, I assume, but when people said No Man's Sky VR, I was like, that's never going to happen. That can't happen. It's impossible.
Right.
And they did it, and it's so good.
Right.
Like, it has to win any category it's in. Unfortunately for all the other games, like No Man's Sky.
I've played that game a lot. I played that game since launch day, and it was one of my favorite PS4 games on the regular before VR. And yeah, even though the day one, I think had some multiplayer issues, had some multiplayer issues for sure. It was definitely, this is a game that I go around exploring planets with my friends, scanning these weird animals. I've got pictures all throughout the Discord of us petting like dinosaurs and all these things we found. And that is just to have such a, and then they add in the missions, the co-op missions and stuff. There's just so much to do multiplayer. It's hard to compete with that. And just a lot of fun overall.
Yeah, I mean, just the feeling of hopping in your spaceships and being like, where are we going, guys? And then you look at the galaxy map and you all warp to a new place. And you're like, oh, this planet looks cool. Let's go check it out. And you guys start building a base together. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. Now, of course, we followed that up with a little bit of it's the first PSVR footage of touring carts. You know, everything we've seen so far has actually been PC footage, and so we were very curious to know. You know, we were talking about, you know, all the different controller types that you could use. And so if anyone was wondering why that footage seemed to go on a little bit long, you just really wanted to demonstrate, hey, you can use a wheel. You can use just a DualShock. You can use the wheel and the Move controller. You can, you know, so...
Which is insane. That's some Reggie shit. That's some Reggie shit.
That is some Strange Game Studio shit. Absolutely. And I gotta say, you know, like I can't lie. I sort of fell off of the touring carts, you know, bandwagon when Dash Dash World was announced. It's like, oh, this is the game that's really gonna do it. And now I'm going back and forth. Like, I can't wait to see which one really, you know, really brings it.
I mean, it's not just you either, because I saw people in chat during that segment saying like, oh, well, I still want to Dash Dash more. Like, it looks cool, but Dash Dash is my thing. So we'll see. I want to see how it all.
I love the competition. I just know, you know, the features of touring carts. I don't think that's going to be hard to touch. I mean, it supports everything but the aim controller. And
why is it support the aim controller?
But yeah, that's one that you know, I'm very, very much excited for. And yeah, that new footage was awesome. To be able to use the wheel, which I have the wheel, I've got the T150 Pro. Anybody with wheels out there, this is one that you want to keep your eye on because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to that. What does that bring us up to? Looks like the best update award with John Riggs. Yeah. I love John Riggs.
Also kind of a heavy hitter, kind of a little bit of a YouTube celeb. A little bit.
So he did Most Immersive World on last year's show, and I was thrilled that he was willing to come back and do it again for this year, and he was giving away the award for best update. I was like, this is gonna. I knew the second we decided this was going to be a category that it was going to cause a lot of confusion because not only. Some of these games didn't come out this year. We're just talking about the update for the game, DLC, aim patch, whatever, right? Free songs.
Yeah, this is not a VR update. This is a game that was already in VR.
And that was the other problems that people were like, No Man's Sky Beyond needs to win this. And I was like, ooh, maybe we should have been more clear that it wasn't a PSVR game until that update. So that doesn't really count.
Yeah, and the other issue is like some of the updates, say, for example, broke the game for 2 weeks. Like, you're talking about Firewall.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a,
Yeah, no.
This was a tough one, though, still. Regardless of that, that happens, man. That's whether, it sucks, but that is something that happens commonly.
Yeah, I know.
It happens in games. So, but this was a tough one. And I was really glad to see Borderlands get it because, first of all, they added the aim, and that was huge. The aim support changed that game for me forever. And then adding all of the DLC for free, and that's 16 content packs. That was an amazing update. But then you've got like Beat Saber adding the free songs, you've got Firewall adding the new levels.
Don't forget about custom colors in Beat Saber. I mean, it's such a small update,
but
it's so addictive
too. I love that.
That could have gone almost any way possible. And of course, Gran Turismo was in there too. Gran Turismo, I know, is a little divisive, but that there's no denying like the significance of the update they brought to that. It went from a game that I was like, it's kind of a tech demo thing to being like a lot more game to it. All the racing tracks and everything, and that game is also a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they were surprisingly aggressive about the updates. Like, I didn't realize that there was just going to be constant new stuff in Gran Turismo. And at this point, they just released a new version with all the stuff
I saw that
in it. GT Spec 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they've added so much. Like, at the beginning, there was barely anything there, and now it's a pretty full-on VR racing game. Like, good job.
Yeah, I it's tough to not vote for Borderlands 2, despite the fact that it's, all of the choices were good. The fact that they brought aim support when I thought that aim support was totally unnecessary. Once I got my hands on the aim in that game, I said, oh, I take it all back. This is the way to play this game. And then with all the DLC, I mean, it's just so much content that they were all good choices, but Borderlands 2, I think, was the rightful winner.
Just one more thing to add on that. Even driving the car feels good with the aim controller. That is something I never would have thought. I had lots of trouble with Doom because the hand sticking out of the face, and usually like some immersive like things like that. But they did it perfectly, man. And even driving the cars felt good, felt great.
And that led us to the world premiere trailer of a game that's actually coming out this week. I want to say this Tuesday by Sin Studio. It's Warzone. Now, a couple things about Warzone, right? There's actually no multiplayer component for PlayStation VR. It is multiplayer
totally
on PC. And when I was watching this trailer, I go, no, that's so, yeah, I'm with you, AJ, man. Like, I could use a campaign that kind of looks like this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, we get these other games like Alvo and stuff that are sort of like, is this the next Firewall? But to have that in a single player campaign is unique. Nobody else really has that. Blood and Truth, sort of, but not the same thing. So yeah, that looks really exciting. And you said it's coming out like next week?
Yeah, this Tuesday. It's like just days away.
This Tuesday. I am very excited for that. I love single player
everybody
games.
Let's do it.
I'm definitely hyped for this one. And the thing that caught my aim support, and the thing that caught my attention too was driving vehicles again. And I am very, very excited for this one for sure.
Yeah, and keep it, and I always we want to manage expectations. This is Sin Studio. Like obviously it's the guy that made I say guy, but I think it's like maybe one or two people. It's a very, very small team. They made Wraith, which was a fun little wave shooter.
Was it?
And I thought it was a fun little wave shooter. That overpriced, but a fun little wave shooter. And also a little overpriced Perfect Sniper, which would have been a fun little $5 game that I think was like $15. So I just keep it in mind when you look at that. But obviously we'll be checking it out for you this week, so you don't have to take any serious risks.
Don't buy it till you see Brian play it.
Yeah, or AJ. He's a good gamer. Siren's on my end, obviously.
He's the best gamer of the three of us. And
that led us to the best soundtrack category with our good friend Dave.
Who presented that?
Some good-looking gentleman over in Orlando. The girl's gonna be banging down your door, buddy.
I was waiting for people to be like, Dave's graphics look like trash.
Right.
Right, I was like, wow, the internet is really here in full force today. Every time I saw it, I was like, oh, this game looks like trash.
Everything is trash. Everything is trash.
Developers, stop making bad games. All right, well.
Yeah, a lot of graphics talk in the chat.
There was.
You got to remember, too, I mean, these games always look different in VR. They're played in VR, experienced in VR for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's a little surprising, actually, to see that kind of attitude. I'm like, wow, like, you guys serious? Like,
and keep in mind, we're without Parole, man. We're not IGN, right? Like, we don't have AAA developers knocking down our door, going, please, please, please debut our like next big amazing, sequel to Farpoint or whatever. So just keep that in mind. Our reach only goes so far.
And again, a lot of this stuff is early footage, so
also true.
But Dave, keeping it classy. This one was the biggest upset of the entire award show. I think.
For Ghost Giant, right? You think Ghost Giant?
No. This was between this. I know why you think that, but no. This was actually. I think it was divided. It was decided by one vote.
Wow.
One vote.
This was decided by one vote
between Beat Saber and Tetris Effect, and I really thought Beat Saber was going to win. I'll admit, I voted for Tetris Effect because that song, the music I thought was really good when I first saw the trailer. Yeah, I was like, I have to have this, and it had like an emotional connection. But I did that thinking that like, oh, it's this isn't even gonna have a chance against Beat Saber. So interesting to see that Tetris Effect edge this out.
Well, the thing for me, too, is that Tetris Effect got so much backlash. People were like, this is too expensive. What's the deal? Why do you need to play Tetris in VR? It's a flat game. All this nonsense. But it won 2 awards this year based on votes from people in our community, which means that isn't the dominant response that people have. People like it because it's awesome. And the music was so well done. And the fact that the gameplay is part of the music itself. Oh, wait. Steve, NCUSA, with a $20 donation and an animated GIF that says "You are amazing," with the guy taking his hat off and dancing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you, bud. Wow, it's I don't know if I've ever seen an animation in a.
I didn't know you could.
Yeah, that's brand new. That's unprecedented. Dude, Steve, you're killing it out there.
Dude's doing some magic behind the scenes.
Insane.
All right, next up, guys, we got to move along
Thank you, Steve.
To what happened after we give the award out for best soundtrack. Again, well deserved. Although I think I voted for Ghost Giant. That that album, like if you listen to the entire Ghost Giant soundtrack from beginning to end,
that's a good one too, man.
It's so beautiful,
and,
man.
And I like the Zing soundtrack too. I mean, these were all really good soundtracks. Hell, you could have even put Blood and Truth in there. I mean, there are a lot of games with really great soundtracks. We almost put No Man's Sky in there too, because there's just so many good soundtracks. So everybody that works in music, you know, Brian and I, actually all three of us, I think, are musicians. So trust me, it means a lot when you take the time to have some really good music in the game. It can make a huge difference in a game for me.
Yeah, and I just want to give like an honorable mention to Ghost Giant, because personally, the soundtrack and I loved that. You bought it on vinyl, didn't you, Brian? Like
I did.
Yeah,
the limited edition. I had to have it.
And you had to have it because that's such a good soundtrack. I know not as many people played it, so it didn't pop up on the list as far as votes go, but shout out.
Yeah, for sure. And then we followed that up with a brand new game announcement from Bulwark Games, developers of Dick Wild 1 and 2.
Wild.
Okay, in this they are publishing this themselves, so they don't have the money of like PlayStack this time around, and so they're doing something a little bit different. They're doing this game called Glyph, which in my book looks like what Arca's Path should have been if it was fun.
I mean, this being a platform, first of all, that little beetle thing looks amazing. The design of that I thought was really cool. It's like a cyber beetle or something.
My first thought was the guy from Thumper got off the track and now he's like jumping around.
Was that you who said it in the comments?
Yeah, I did.
I was just about to quote you. That's funny.
It's an open world Thumper game. No, but they've got these courses and stuff, and it showed them like crawling up and stuff. You guys know me. I am a sucker for platformers, and that's exactly what this looked like. And so this has my attention for sure, absolutely. And it's Bulwark, which they make. Dick Wild 2 is a game that I've had people come over and I've showed them some stuff that I thought they would really like, and they were like, meh. And then I let them play Dick Wild, and they're like, this game is awesome. And I was like, wow, okay, so they make pretty polished stuff, and so I'm definitely excited for this one. And that was a reveal, which was really cool too.
Yeah, never before seen. This is in the soundtrack in my book was like top notch, man. Like I just wanted to flutter around this world and listen to whatever music is playing in the background.
For the next person that tips, I'm going to reveal something I just learned about this Tree Guy plush, but not until someone tips.
I'm like, how do I send a tip? I'm so curious right now. Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think of that one? I thought like I said, I just got done playing Carly and the Reaper Man, another small like indie dev game for platforming, and man, that definitely, I don't, still got some to learn about it, but overall, just really excited about it.
I just like to see developers stretch their legs, man, and try something new. It's like with Dick Wild, it's like then Dick Wild 2. I was like, why didn't you do something else between those games? Like, let's see what else you can do. And in that they're doing this, finally they're doing what I asked them to.
It's a hard left turn. Like I was not expecting that to be their next game.
Right.
So
exactly. All right.
If it's anything like their previous games, it's going to be incredibly difficult. So get strapped in for that.
Right.
I'm up for the challenge.
Speaking of being up to the challenge, AJ, you were the one who presented the next category, which was Best Horror Game of 2019.
Spooky.
Suitably spooky.
Yeah,
Did you go by a campfire and say for the approval of the Midnight Society? And
so
nice
it was
reference.
funny. I was actually I was in my backyard at like 11:30 or something, and I was talking to Brian, and I was like, man, and there was like some of my neighbors were like around. They were doing like some like stuff, and I'm like sitting here like making all this like scary faces and stuff, and I'm like, they're like, this guy is a psycho, but I was like, well, at least I'm on my own property, but I love horror games, so I wanted to I definitely wanted to be like, make it all spooky and stuff, and there was some weird glow in my eyes, and it made it like even more scary. So I actually wanted to end it with my eyes turning like the Michael Jackson Thriller thing, where they turn yellow. I wanted to end it like that, but it was just like
with a little more time, I would have done some editing for you, man. And like, but man, everything was so tight for this. David, are you ready?
Hold on one sec. I think that's the best thing you've ever said, AJ. You said, I look like a psycho, but at least I'm on my own property. I love it. Okay, so
get out of here! This is hard.
She who games with her little monster cat says, just to know the secret from Dave. Here it is. He has posable arms. There's like a wire in here, and you can like make him exactly like I can make him cover his mouth almost. I don't know. It's not much of a secret, but I just learned it.
She who games with her little monster cat is going to ask for a refund.
Sorry.
All right, and so AJ, I really wish I had more time to edit all this show together. For anyone who doesn't know, you could probably see with my fumbling at the absolute last second with this post show and obviously not even having the right links to get the show started. Everything came together at the absolute last minute here. So like 24 hours ago, the show didn't exist. So the last 72 hours has been absolutely insane around here. So I would have loved to put a little bit more time into, making your presentation look a little special with better sound effects and cool visual effects and stuff. But man, you did a great
cool.
job. It didn't need anything.
Thank you. Yeah. I was really glad that there was the moon right above me. It was perfect timing. But man, how about these horror games though? We have a lot of horror games, and they are all pretty good. I was seeing tons of love for Home Sweet Home. And of course, Immortal Legacy, which is Kev Gret's favorite game. And then I know he was really disappointed about that.
So mad it didn't win. I'm still visibly upset.
I'm personally offended that Horror Sense was not on the list. I know nobody has it.
Yeah, we didn't actually create any sort of this has to be out in all territories thing. That Horror Sense totally could have possibly been in this category. I think it was in the preliminaries when the three of us sat down and listed 10 games for each category and then whittled it down.
But if nobody has it, how are you going to vote for it? So
another sleeper that was included on there was Chair in a Room. I want to give a shout out to Chair in a Room by Wolfram Wood. That was a really good game. Really good. It's almost kind of like Experience. It's kind of short, but it had the atmosphere and everything, and it looked pretty good. And that was a great one. But of course, there could only be one winner. And the support for Five Nights at Freddy's was ridiculous. And actually, I just jumped into it the other day. And there was there's a gallery that shows you all the characters, and there was a lot of question marks on some new characters. So there's going to be probably a new Halloween update, something coming to that. But
there was. They just posted a trailer last night or this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is already more stuff coming, and of course they told us that there would be more stuff coming. So on top of that, so it's so exciting. This game was already awesome, and the way it's set up with with actually a menu full of mini games and different nights and the different games, it's custom designed for DLC. So I can't wait to see all those screens fill up with more stuff over the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean that game. I know it didn't get Dave, but that game was absolutely terrifying.
Is that why he left? Did he leave because of Five Nights?
Yeah, it's his statement. I guess I don't know.
Taking a stand, he's like, "Fuck it."
Sorry, I can't be in the room when people are talking positively about Five Nights at Freddy's. I had to leave.
That's awesome.
Well, I definitely thought it was absolutely terrifying to me, and like I said, I played through the whole thing, and there were some definitely big surprises. Awesome game.
Can we talk about, as great as Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted is, can we talk about that acceptance speech?
Yes.
That was people. I've never seen so many people say cringe in the chat. People kept saying cringe, which I was like,
that's fine.
I mean, he was playing with little toys, but
it was so funny. It was so well done.
Yeah. Was that the guy, or is that somebody on the team?
That was Scott Cawthon.
Okay.
That was my contact. I believe. I want to say. I hope I don't get this wrong. Is it Andrew?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure Andrew Dayton over at Steel Wool Games. I want to say thank you very, very much. He said that was his creative outlet for the day. It did get Scott Cawthon's approval, but basically when I first contacted him, he said, it's Scott doesn't do these kind of things, but let me see what we can do. And he did this, and as much as I would have loved to see Scott Cawthon accept an award, nothing. This is amazing. This is unbelievable. And anyone who cringed at this, I mean, man, you need a better sense of humor because this is awesome.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. An award well won. Moving on, however, to the Best Narrative Award, delivered by our buddy Jamie Feltham over at Upload VR.
Oh yeah, make sure you guys go subscribe to Upload VR and check out their website. Those are great guys over there. Thank you, Jamie, for submitting this. A fellow Pearl Jam fan. It's always good in my book. But yeah, he did a great job.
Is that from his Twitter handle? Is like from his Twitter? Is like if you know like Spider-Man or Pearl Jam, you might as well not follow.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Maybe that's
Just
why
put it all out there, Jamie. That's awesome.
Love Pearl Jam, man. One of the best shows I've ever seen live. But yeah, so he got to do best narrative. I think this was probably the easiest one. The voting was a landslide in this, and it wasn't even close. And the winner, of course, was Ghost Giant.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we all played it. I think we all separately and together said, this is one of the most like affecting, well done, subtle, nuanced, like emotional stories that we've ever seen on VR. People don't use VR for this kind of stuff, and they did such a good job at it. I watched AJ tear up on stream. I teared up.
I cried twice.
Yeah, no, it hits you in a certain way, and the music really helps too. Honorable mention, soundtrack.
Yeah. It definitely got hard to talk on stream at one point or another, and yeah, if a game can do that to you, that's pretty good. Honestly, that happens to me a lot these days with VR because I'm just like, this is amazing. This is everything I could have dreamed of. But for real, like it, the story was so relatable, and I'm sure it was for so many people, and it just it was crazy. And it was great to see Sarah Elfgren accept that award as well.
Oh yeah, that was a great. Anytime you get the devs, but like she wrote the thing, so that's really cool.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think it was on this past Gamescast Live where I had just gotten a video from her with the Secret of Monkey Island box on the bookshelf behind her, and I was
was that the one? I was looking for that. Okay.
And I was like, oh, I love you.
Yes.
like I mean, because all the Monkey Island games, they're great, but man, the original one, like just having that box up there on proudly displayed means something. And it's funny because every time we talk about Ghost Giant, as far as like puzzle solving goes, I know that narratively and puzzle solving are side by side, but like separate. It feels like a LucasArts or Lucasfilm adventure game from back in the day. So it just makes sense to have that there.
Yeah, and thank you guys for understanding and voting properly, because like this is a game that could just fly right past people. Like, oh, that looks like a kid's game. I don't want to play that, whatever.
Right.
But it's so deeply affecting in a certain way that I'm glad that people played it and voted for it. So thank you guys.
You're not going to walk out on this one? You sure?
It's not Five Nights at Freddy's again, is it?
But yeah. What did that go into?
We followed that up with Echoes VR.
Oh man, this one. I am so excited for this one, man. For real. Look, I know I've said it looks like a mini Subnautica, and you were like, whoa. I haven't seen Subnautica. I've been trying to avoid spoilers just in case it comes to VR. But the whole point is it's like more like, I guess, The Descent, where you're down in like these caves and stuff. And the game just looks like so many things that I love. I mean, it looks like a little bit of horror, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of survival, and then it's like an action shooter. And there's just so many things about this game that look absolutely amazing to me. And this is definitely one of my personal most anticipated ones.
Yeah, I was actually trying to get. I have no idea where the trailer disappeared to. Sorry, guys. I was just letting the award show run all on its own. And I was like, it'd probably be better if we actually showed the stuff we're talking about. And then this one disappeared on me at the last second, so that's not happening. But yeah, no, it was sad for me to say, to see people being a little, overly harsh on this game. It's still a ways out. They've got, if anyone who has ever been involved in game development at all, that graphics are the last thing to get polished up, and so like 6 months before a game comes out, it looks a lot different than it does 6 months later.
Well, the other thing about VR too is that, we all understand where the graphics are at right now, especially if you're a small dev. Like, not everybody's making Blood and Truth with a big studio.
Right.
And if you're doing something interesting and the atmosphere is good and the gameplay is good, the immersion totally beats out any graphical issues. Like, my favorite games on PSVR don't have the best graphics in the world. They don't look like Horizon Zero Dawn or something. Like, they look fine. They work, I feel like at this stage we shouldn't really be nitpicking about graphics, but
no. But yeah, what was I going to say? This also has a really good soundtrack, it seems. I haven't heard the whole thing, but they've been posting on Twitter some of the music that they've been doing, and the score of it sounds epic. So another good soundtrack to look forward to as well.
Yeah. And anything that's just like a big awesome adventure, I'm down, man. I'm absolutely down. So I'm looking forward to playing that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
Man, I like Lost Art Place here. Moving down the list, and that brings us to best art design, which actually is kind of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Some of these games, Ghost Giant specifically that we were just talking about a little while ago, maybe not the best graphics, fidelity-wise, high-resolution textures, that kind of thing. But man, but with art design and like making a game look special because you're artistically talented, that's really important.
Right.
And that was presented by Ian Higton from Upload VR.
Another heavy hitter. I can't believe you got all these people to talk to.
No, from Eurogamer. From Eurogamer.
What did I say?
You said Upload. I know we love Upload.
We do love Upload. Sorry, Eurogamer.
And
he was British also, so I see why you did.
No,
definitely go and subscribe to Eurogamer as well. They do lots of early coverage stuff. He does Ian's Corner over there. Some great stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I reached out to him.
Streams too, if you guys want to check that out. He's got a streaming channel where he plays VR stuff sometimes. He plays Beat Saber sitting down, which is madness to me, but
I didn't know you could do that.
He does have a channel where
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know you could either. But,
yeah.
Eurogamer is like one of the very few mainstream websites that actually covers VR stuff regularly, and that is 100% because of Ian. So, shout out Ian. Thank you for all you're doing, man.
Absolutely.
When I was reaching out to different people, obviously it was Ian's VR Corner. The reason I reached out to him, it's not when you see a site as big as Eurogamer, you generally assume, oh, they're gonna cover things the way IGN does, or not maybe like give it to a freelancer, say, hey, go do this VR review, whatever. But anytime I see Ian do something over at Eurogamer, I generally agree with him, and he was one of the first people to tell us about Bravo Team, and we're like, oh, okay, that's probably legit, So yeah, but he did what we're talking about, best art design.
Trover, baby. Trover. Oh man,
And
I'm so glad this one won. This was another tight race. I think it was between Derosine and Trover. And yeah, I think those were the two that were like kind of back and forth. And they're just things. This is of course like a Justin Roiland cartoon, visual, like in VR, and it's very crisp, very polished. And like even if you have Trover Saves the Universe, when you play that game, just go close to Trover and look at his body, his fuzzy.
Oh, the fuzzy little
body.
squishy. It looks like you could just
looks almost like real. Like it's so crazy how clear and just awesome it looks. And I think this is another one that's just like very well deserved.
We got a comment out here. Funsuke Wengdu says 3 guys yapping, ignoring the viewers. What kind of awards are these? Well, thank you for the positive feedback. I love it.
We will open up. We will definitely open up some questions from you guys afterwards if we get a chance. But yeah, we're trying to cover the show for now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been reading the comments, man, for like the entire show, man. Like even I was here, pulling levers and trying to make everything work properly. The most important thing for me was reading the comments, because last year's show, I was like, I don't know if anyone's even gonna care about this, right? I remember starting the show up and watching and just going, let's see if this is interesting at all to anybody. And man, it was exciting. It was exciting to watch the comments. For me, being on this side of everything, the comments are what make the day for me. Seeing everybody react to everything, and so that's I had that chat window up from the second I started this thing, going, man, fingers crossed. I really, really hope that the excitement level is there, and I'm thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled. You guys killed it. You guys killed it for me. You made my day, so thank you.
Just to reinforce the fact that we are actually looking at the chat and reading comments, Polish Paul said something very funny. Someone's accused him of being you. Polish Paul is Brian Paul Conspiracy. And Polish Paul said, if I was same person as Brian, I would jump into fire pit and burn until only ash remains. Yeah. Almost poetic. It's almost poetic.
Yeah. You also wouldn't have that lovely wife of yours either. for so many reasons, Paul.
But yeah, back on track. Everybody was commenting about how he became Power Baby in the eye when he presented the winner. That was really cool. And like you said earlier, he did that himself.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome job.
Yeah.
Right, and I just assumed people like Ian Higton are way too busy to do something like that for us, and the fact that he went the extra mile was pretty awesome. So
you also got to hear him say Game Cats. The
Yes.
guy from Eurogamer said Game Cats.
Dude,
That's fucking wild.
the number of people that said without parole, and the number of people that said Game Cats, here I am like living this little without parole bubble in my bedroom, right? It's so funny to hear those names come out of people's mouths that I totally respect. You know, we saw the acceptance video from Squanch Games, Mikey over there holding the big plush Trover doll. You say Game Cats and without parole, and I was just like, man, this is so incredible to hear this. It's amazing.
And his little bit at the end, like, please buy it. We're starving. We're dying. That was so good. I love that thing.
Right?
Oh my God, yes. That was really awesome.
Right. So for anyone who doesn't have PlayStation VR, this game is good no matter what. But man, it really does shine in the VR headset. So buy it. They're starving.
They are hungry. And the game is really good.
It is really
good. And it just got free DLC also.
Yep.
So the gameplay we revealed after that was by Recluse Industries, who make Separation, and that's coming out in January. What were your impressions of this, guys? This was, I'm sure, pretty divisive in the chat.
It looked pretty good to me, honestly. Yeah. I liked what I saw. I mean, of course, even I was like, Eden Tomorrow 2, Unearthing Mars 3, but like, it looked good. I want to play it. So.
I've been following this game probably before anyone else, and I've still been waiting for that game where you kind of just wander around in these like cool looking areas, and this was one of the first to catch my attention like that. And there is like a narrative that this follows, so I'm really interested in that. I wasn't expecting it to have almost like it's like almost like a post-apocalyptic like sci-fi feel to it. And this is a very, very small studio. This is like one or two guys. So there's some things like, the rocks and the mountains kind of look blocky. But other than that, like I definitely want to try this game out. I'm hoping the atmosphere is there, the sound design is there, to where I can just get lost and wander around, maybe discover a story. There might be, if I'm correct, there is like a really strong narrative behind this. So with a lot of influence for a lot of serious reasons. So it's, I love VR games because they're different. If I wanted the same thing as every other game, then I wouldn't be playing VR. And that's what I don't get from some people and their attitude towards it. Like, oh, this is just like a walking thing or a climbing thing. It's like, no, this is a new medium. This is a way to experience things. So I, for one, definitely am interested in this. And yeah, the whole futuristic, like there's just a lot of history in this game. It looks like a lot of stuff has happened, and I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, I always worry with games like this that you're going to go out to this alien landscape and there's not going to be anything there. Like Mars Alive, for instance. It was just a barren, totally boring landscape.
Yeah.
This looked like there was some care put into the design of where you're exploring, so it's actually interesting to look at. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Right, trekking from point A to point B isn't just to make the game longer, right? This game is all about the journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. The soundtrack is he sent me a couple files for the soundtrack, and I listened to those, and it sounds pretty good. I'm definitely a fan of these environments, and I feel like this is one of those games where you wake up on like a Saturday after a long week or something, and you just like you're miserable and sad and depressed, and you just want to make it worse. And you put on
that can happen on Sundays too.
Yeah, you play this game and you're just like, I'm gonna be miserable in a sad, lonely game. I can't wait. This is my kind of thing.
I would love it. I need that today, honestly. Last night was a long night, but I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah. Oh, heard. This is I'll tell you about my last night if you tell me about your last night. I promise you, mine's less interesting.
Probably so.
All right, so that's Separation by Recluse, which brings us to Most Immersive World by somebody who when I reached out to him, I never thought in a million years he'd actually respond. Thank you so very much, Nathy, for presenting this award. Unbelievable. I mean, I did see some people say, they didn't know who Nathy was. If you don't know who Nathy is, I get it because, PlayStation VR.
Orseek, man.
Yeah,
or Orseek said it, or when you went on the thing, Orseek was like, I don't know who this guy is.
I know.
I think he was just trolling.
I think he was just trolling, but there were people who didn't know who Nathy is. I'm like, if you don't know who Nathy is, you need to go subscribe to Nathy. He's the biggest VR, not just PSVR, all VR YouTuber out there with like 500,000 subscribers, and the dude knows his stuff. He's
in the Guinness Book of World Records for VR, and I don't think anyone else can say that. I think he's the only person in the Guinness Book of World Records for VR. So yeah, Nathan's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that. That was awesome.
Yeah, really nice. So he did a great job with the dialogue, the script, everything, and just brought his charisma and his character to it, and I really appreciate it for that.
His fashion sense.
Oh, yeah, he's got good fashion.
Fresh. He was looking fresh, man.
Right on. I gotta say, Leroy Jenkins in the chat says we need a House of Leaves VR game. That is a deep cut, and I'm so down. I'm so down.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone say the words House of Leaves for like 20 years. It's like
it's that book where the text is in a circle or it's sideways. Yeah.
But it was actually decent too.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely go check out Nathy. Is it Nathy VR? I think on his
it's
channel.
just Nathy.
Just
literally, you go to YouTube and you type in Nathy, you're set. It'll pop up. YouTube's like, we got you covered. Come this way. Over here. Takes you by the hand. We got you. Over here. Bring you to the Netherlands. I will take you by the hand. Yep. And so you talked about the most immersive world. And I mean, again, as great as some of these nominations were,
man, tough one.
It's so tough to go up against No Man's Sky, man. Because somebody in the chat said No Man's Sky is almost only about immersion, right? Obviously, there's stuff you do, but it's kind of like busy work to just be immersed in these cool worlds, right? And so it was hard to go up against No Man's Sky, but the competition, but they were good games though. Red Matter, beautiful.
I mean, I have spent 250 something hours just wandering in No Man's Sky.
I thought you were going to say in Red Matter, and I was like, what have you been doing?
I can't figure these puzzles out.
The puzzles are hard, man.
For some
Red
reason,
yeah.
For some reason, it took me 100 times longer than everyone else.
No, I mean, Red Matter was another one. That is a great, there were some great nominees for sure. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to being immersed in the world, it's kind of like Skyrim. I think Skyrim won last year, actually. And
I think so.
It's just, you just get sucked in. I seriously explored like oceans underwater for so many hours. And there was all this different vegetation, these different animals, sharks, fish, jellyfish, all these different things that is just so fun to discover. And don't even get me started on the planets. I mean, the planets, they've added so many since when I first started. The game just looks completely different from the first time I played it. And yeah, there's infinite worlds and stuff. It doesn't get any better in terms of like getting sucked into a world than No Man's Sky for sure.
Yeah, and now I can make, with these latest updates, I can make bread out of poop and glass, and it's incredible. It's so good. Thank you, No Man's Sky.
Right. I do want to give a shout out to LA Noire, the VR case files, because man, on the surface, that game is clunky and doesn't function terribly well. But then once you kind of get into it and you just start exploring the city, man, it's like this is one of the best looking cities in VR that I've ever seen. One of the most diverse places you can hang out. Really well, nice recreation of I was like, what city is it? It's in the title of the game, Brian. Right? It's just beautiful. And driving around that city in a car, like, totally out of control, is so much fun. And so for me, I definitely, as much as I love No Man's Sky, I kind of got to give a little bit of a nod to LA Noire.
Yeah, I mean, that was also the sort of Rockstar feeling in VR, because like their games, you drive a car, you run into anybody you want, you run over people on the street, and they react, they say things.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in VR. It's like, I hope they keep going and release something else, because it was a really, really well done game. I like that.
Absolutely. And that led us into a game reveal.
Yes.
And I know AJ is excited about Don't Look Down, so let me pass it off to him, man.
Oh man, this was another one that I'm just like, this is instantly going to the top of my anticipated.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. And it was Don't Look Down. And who are the developers behind that?
Oh, why are you putting me on the spot, man? I'm trying to bring up footage here.
You get that footage, and then, but anyways, This game looked like another one of those to the top kind of things, parkour, rock climbing. We hear everybody all the time talking about Carnival Games VR. What's the one thing they mention is the rock climbing wall. The first footage of this I see is the guy looking up or something, and there's like a rock climbing wall or ropes that you can climb. There's like a buzzsaw going left and right. And man, this game just looks like another first-person platformer. That's something that, besides I think Mirror's Edge and a couple other things, Jumping Flash, there's not really a lot of first-person platformers that can really pull that work, and none of them can even come close to what it's like in VR. It's just one of the most amazing feelings, and I know Just Incredible VR, a couple of my other dudes are going to be so excited to play this one. I mean, it looks pretty fast paced too. And there's enemies. It's got like kind of a Mario vibe going. There's so much about this that I'm excited for.
Yeah, for sure. Catapult Games, by the way. So it's still researching. It's. I understand when people say, "Oh, To the Top looks so much better than this," but To the Top does something way different than this, right? It's like this you can't climb and just kind of like move around the way you want to. And To the Top has a very specific locomotion system. And this looks like they took the climbing wall from, Summer Funland or Carnival Games and turned it into an actual game. And man, that's exciting because like you said, those are the best parts of those games. I'm very excited to check this out, man. I'm curious to see what the difficulty is like, because this could really go in a lot of different ways. If this could be really hardcore game.
Yes.
Right? And
it's perfect
I kind of
for
want
move.
It to be.
It looks really perfect for Move controllers.
Oh,
and it looks like there's some multiplayer maybe too. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't want to make any promises, but man, let's hope so. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. This is just one that I'm really, really excited for sure.
Yeah. And they said, what, spring? Is that what they said? Spring 2020?
Yeah. Spring 2020. So, I will wait patiently.
Wait patiently, man. I love it was so amazing having like exclusives of things like this that I was, never in a million years did I think that when I reached out to people like this, they'd go, "Oh yeah, absolutely. You can totally reveal the release window, show off some gameplay footage that we've never shown." I was like, "Oh, well, then by all means, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Catapult." And that leads us to the next category by my hero.
I can't believe you did this.
Putting this out there, I'm putting my ego completely aside, right? Because there would be no Without Parole, without Podcast Beyond, without Kind of Funny. Like if anyone has ever accused us of stealing anything, it's from them, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing I watched. Podcast Beyond was the thing I looked forward to when it was an MP3 before there was even video. Right, so this was a huge deal for me, and I just want to give a shout out to Greg Miller and send him every bit of love that I've ever shouted out on any show ever. Super. Because this made my entire month, life, year, whatever you want to call it. This was amazing for me. So thank you very much.
Super nice dude too. That was one of the first things that I actually got Brian to like open up and talk to me about. Was we talked about Podcast Beyond and Kind of Funny Games and the whole team, and that was one of the first conversations that we had. And I think after talking about that, Brian was like, "Okay, this guy's not so bad after all." But I actually had the pleasure. I know you've met him. I had the pleasure of meeting him. I was actually out in San Francisco during the time for my brother's wedding, and there was like a day where I had some like extra time, and I was like, "I'll be back, guys." Like I was like, "If you don't mind," I asked my brother if it was okay during his wedding, like before the day before
the wedding.
No, the day before his wedding. I was like, "Can I go do something real quick? You guys not gonna care?" They're like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So I went over to IGN and I went and saw Up at Noon with Greg Miller, and it was when Dylan Job was there for Starhawk, if you remember that game on PS3, and he mentioned like Jet Moto working for Single Track, and I was like, "Woo!" And they were like, "Oh, Jet Moto, one guy, all right." And I'm like, dude, that game, you don't know how much that game means to me. Bring it to VR. But yeah, got to meet Greg and the team, and he was just such a nice guy, and really can't say enough good things about him. He really is just like who you see on the screen. He is just as nice as he is behind the scenes as well.
And you got so many big guest hosts, but when I saw Greg Miller, I flipped my shit. I was like, "Brian, so here's my follow-up. Are you going to be on the Kind of Funny Games cast?" Because David Jagno from Upload VR went over there, and he was on the Kind of Funny Games cast.
Yeah, well, David Jagno.
Now you know Greg. Also, second question: can you introduce me to Greg Miller?
Dude, listen, I've met Greg Miller in the same way that AJ has. I was at Beyond 300, which is a big deal for me. I also went on a separate trip, went and saw him up at noon, which was very strange up at noon because most of the rest of the IGN crew had already left for E3 that year.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was just a very like intimate setting. It was crazy. But no, I mean, like I couldn't believe that he actually like, responded to my email. So that was a big deal for me. If he ever invites me to do anything on Kind of Funny, I'm all his. I will pick up and leave tomorrow, and I'll be back in a week.
We are eternally grateful.
Greg, if you're listening, Greg, get this man on your show because he will do a great job, and you'll love it. We'll all love it. Yep. And then he can introduce you.
Yeah, all I can say, the only thing I could say is, my love for PlayStation has been since it was created in 1995, and I've been a PlayStation gamer. So he was a big reason that he gave me a source of entertainment and news and stuff for PlayStation is how I discovered him. So just really awesome to have him representing the best action game, which of course Blood and Truth won.
Oh, right. He actually presented a category. He wasn't just there to say hi. Right. So Blood and Truth, best action game. So man, I'm curious to see what this was up against. I have to go back to my notes because best action game, there's a lot of good action games that came out this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But man, you know what? It's Blood and Truth is just the winner, man. I feel like it should have won more awards somehow.
Yeah, it did almost actually win the Game of the Year. It was really close between that and the other one, but this is one of the best action experiences I've ever played. I've said it before multiple times. I loved 007 games, even like Tomorrow Never Dies. Of course, GoldenEye. The World Is Not Enough was okay too. There were so many of those that I loved, and then big Time Crisis fan as well. So this was like the best of both worlds for me. Yeah. And just such a polished game and really great action set pieces. I love action movies, Die Hard, like all these movies, and Casino Royale, and just was one of the experiences that like I was wanting to have. So amazing.
Yeah. It's the first and only VR game where you can run and jump out of a window and then land in a spinning like crane thing, and like I don't know, it was so like the action set pieces you were talking about, just incredible stuff like we've never seen on VR before. So, and everybody loves Time Crisis. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. And as far as the other action games it was up against, obviously In Death is such a good game, but it does like one thing and it does it really well.
Right.
Borderlands, I think that was probably a really, really close one. Sorrento
really
is so tough to not give a nod to because it's, what other game can you just jump and do a backflip and then do a double and triple, quadruple?
Yeah. Another great experience.
It's insane. So, all of these games deserve a nod, but man, Blood and Truth, that's when Tony said, we're looking at a different type of AAA game for PlayStation VR moving forward. Like this is what they're talking about, and it's beautiful, it's well acted, and it's just an awesome game all around. So
I feel like anything that came from a concept that was on VR Worlds has been incredible. Astrobot was so good, and that was people were begging for it.
So Astrobot was actually Playroom.
Playroom.
It wasn't VR Worlds.
Oh, you're right. Actually, you're right. Okay, I take it back. You're right. Anyways. Those early
Scavenger's Odyssey, dude. Come on.
I want a motion sickness simulator. Absolutely.
I want that to be a full game.
I love Scavenger's Odyssey.
Ocean Descent should be a full game.
Yes, that really should. That should be like a 2-hour experience. If
aim controller. I want a harpoon gun to kill those fucking sharks, man.
The sharks. I just want to admire all the glowy jellyfish and the ocean life, the giant stingrays. That was such a good first experience, But yeah, no, I agree. I know what you're saying, Dave, though. Like when they get these, it's really awesome that the internet and the whole community has been so supportive and been like, bring us the full game. And then do they deliver? Wow. Pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, guys, I get it in the chat. I was wrong. It's not VR Worlds, it's Playroom.
What are you going to do? All right. And of course, that moved us on to an acceptance video from London Studio.
Really awesome of them.
Also incredible, yeah.
These are big dogs. that sent us, little guys, little fish in a big pond, that send us a video like that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's
I think we're big fish in a small pond, but debatable.
I think it's a small pond. I think we're some small fish. I think it's
small fish and small pond is more accurate. I agree.
I think everything surrounding us is pretty small. My apartment is really small. I don't know what's going on. We need to upgrade. All right, so thank you. Yeah, and shout out to Sony overall, man, because I will say, when I reached out to my Sony contacts and was like, can you get in touch with these guys for us? And they came through like very quickly. I was like just thrilled. So shout out to Sony for helping us with a lot of this. We appreciate you so much. All right, and of course that led to the best overall game presented by me. That was weird. I was like, I have to introduce myself.
I love you introducing yourself. Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, I almost called AJ. I was like, can you just send me like a voiceover clip of like you introducing me? So I was like, this is just weird. But time constraints being what they were, I did the best overall game, and man, tough competition.
This was, you're talking about the best of the best from this year between last award show, and man, this couldn't have been, honestly, I think personally, I just wanted to give it to everyone that was nominated. Right. But this was another one that was actually really close, between Blood and Truth and No Man's Sky. Wow. Just, I could have given it to any game, to be honest with you. Any of these were just amazing.
The inevitability of things is that No Man's Sky will always win any category it's placed in. I guarantee you. It did, and it should have, because we have nothing else like it. It's so incredible. So well-deserved, No Man's Sky.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta, I'll disagree with what AJ is saying. The only one I wouldn't be able to give it to, I think, is Tetris Effect. I know for a lot of people, Tetris Effect is, that's my game of the year. Not even VR, just like that's my game of Sirens, my end, of course, in general. And I get that, man. Like, are we?
No, we don't have to. Oh, we can. We can. Do you want to? Okay, keep going.
Not really, no.
No.
And so that's, as much as I love Tetris Effect, I don't ever want to put it down because I think it is amazing, and I think you can put headphones on, put the VR headset on, and get lost in that game so easily. But man, it's like every other game in this category was just, for me, a step above that. And I'll tell you, it was close, man. It was really close.
Yeah, I definitely think between Blood and Truth and No Man's Sky was definitely. You could see it in the voting. Blood and Truth had so much support, but this game is, like I said, I've got, in the matter of like just a few weeks, I had like 150 hours in this game, and I couldn't stop playing. Like Brian was calling me and was like, "Hey, dude, we got to do stuff on the channel." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna get something for No Man's Sky," and then like I just got like lost for like a week and a half. Our whole Discord disappeared for like a month when this game released. We didn't see half of our Discord for like a month. And there's just so much to do. There's so many different ways to play. I think that's why it wins for me, is because there's spaceship battles, there's exploration, there's discovering animals and stuff. There's just so much stuff, base building, story, like just incredible, man.
I want to give.
Why do you guys keep talking about Just Incredible, man? Like you said it like 3 times now.
It's not even here.
He wasn't even on the show.
That's true. I want to say real quick, I'm presenting a very brand new award that we haven't discussed at all to a person in the chat. This is the Weird Flex But Okay Award 2019. Fast Eddie Boone says, "I know the most Geck words." So
nice.
Nobody else knows more Geck words than Fast Eddie Boone. Good job, Fast Eddie.
But by the way, Brian, I said it was just incredible. I wasn't referring to Justin.
Oh, why do you got to ruin the joke, AJ?
Yeah,
I didn't know if you were serious or not.
Yeah, yep. that sounds like me. All right, and so of course we followed up the best overall game, which of course was No Man's Sky, with the thing that everybody seemed to be excited about from before the show even started, because there were rumors everywhere that we were going to debut the first footage, the first trailer, the first gameplay of Alvo.
And they weren't just rumors; they were true.
They weren't just rumors. Of course. So what did you guys think? Alvo, has had a lot of hype over the last, a couple years now, right? And we finally get to see it. Here, let me put
It looks better than Quiz Night Tonight, I'll say that.
It does look a lot better than Quiz Night Tonight. They definitely stepped up their game for this one, for sure.
Yeah. No, but it looks like it'll be fun. Obviously, not as much polish as Firewall, but a game doesn't need the most polish to be fun. Honor of Duty proves that. A lot of games, if they're just fun to play, I don't think we have to worry about much. So,
right.
I mean, the fact that it's a modern shooter, and I think that's just something that a lot of people really like, and something I've actually come around on. Like, I didn't always be like this big modern shooter, and then I played Firewall, and I was like, okay, I kind of do like it. But I like Counter-Strike. I think people are ready for some team deathmatch, some just fun with friends, and there's a lot to be excited about this. And yeah, like I said, I just feel like a modern shooter has way more appeal than a lot of different games for sure.
Yeah, I mean, first-person shooters, military-style stuff is like the biggest game genre, I guess, like in terms of popularity. Call of Duty, all these Modern Warfare, Battlefield, people love that stuff. So anytime you get one on PSVR, it's going to make people more interested in the platform, and that's always a good thing. So
yeah, and as far as like the level of polish goes, like Martin Pole isn't in some different class than the other developers we were talking about during the show. Like they're a smaller team, right? So we need to make sure we keep our expectations in check. But also on top of that, this isn't final game footage. This is stuff that is when you get to reveal gameplay like this, the first time anyone has really seen Alvo being played, then you got to know that this game is still a little ways out. They've still got a lot of work to do, and so you got to kind of take this and go, this looks fun, and it will be better by the time it comes out. So I'm excited, man. I think I was probably the guy out there saying, keep your expectations in check. I was the guy saying, listen, Quiz Night Tonight was awful. Listen, we haven't seen anything about this game. They announced it 2 years ago, and we saw a CG trailer, right? And now that I've seen what it really looks like, and I've seen some extended footage, I've seen probably 30 or 40 minutes of this game now, and I will tell you, it looks a lot of fun. And I'm actually really surprised. They really pulled it out.
I'll say too, like before Firewall came out, I made a video like, I don't know, guys, this might not be good because the developers have a shady history or whatever. But I was glad to eat my words and say Firewall is awesome. Firewall is a great game. So I hope it's the same thing here, where it's just like, yeah, if you had doubts, you've been proven wrong. It's a good game.
Yeah,
and that's all there is.
And a team like this has the benefit of having played Firewall, right? So when they're building their game, they go, oh, what mistakes can we, circumvent? What problems does Firewall have that we can tackle, and make it more fun to play? Maybe it won't be as polished, but it might be more fun. And I think Reggie over at Strange Games has proven that over and over, man. Like D-Day is so much fun because it does something like wildly different, and playing with 32 people online is just insane in D-Day. So, there's definitely room for multiple shooters on PSVR.
Looks awesome, man. I can't wait. And thank you guys for letting us show the footage, man. And we're glad that everybody gets to see it now. And man, yeah, I'm definitely honestly, I got to be honest with you, all these games I'm excited for. We play every single game, so we're not picky when it comes to what type of game we get. We've had enough experience to know that, there's a game that could be really good that you may not have interest in, but that doesn't mean that it's not good. Like, so there's lots of games you don't want to really judge them until you play them. And then that's when I really, when I start judging. But this to me looks like one I could get lost in for a long time for sure.
Yeah. Defiant Renegade says, so where was this VR Game Awards show originally aired? It just aired on this channel, on this stream. It's just earlier in the stream. It originally aired right here on Without Parole.
So I think you can't scroll back and look at it right now while we're streaming, but as soon as the stream's done, you should be able to go back and see the full awards show. And if you just got here, totally do that, because it was a really good show. Brian knocked it out of the park. And crazy level of like participation from people out there. So
yeah, and I think that's kind of a good place to bookend this conversation, actually.
Right.
I think we talked.
Before we do that, though, Brian, thank you so much, man, for having Dave and I on here, and thank you, Perp Games, for sponsoring the award show. Thank you to all the people that submitted, the developers that submitted to their trailers for their games, the gameplay got to let us show that off, and of course all the presenters. Thank you guys so much. And last but not least, of course not, thank you to the Game Cats and the other people that came out and watched and hung out in the chat. We love you guys so much, man, and it was a blast to do for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Got any closing thoughts, David, before we call this a day?
My name is. Oh, I don't want to dox myself. I was going to do what you do, and I was going to say I love you all, but I don't want to say my full name. So my name's Dave, and I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. This was an awesome show. Once again, Brian, you killed it. Introduced me to Greg Miller, and that's it. That's all I got to say.
Well, have a great night, everybody.
Good night. Good luck. Can I still do this? Tell us the story. Tell us
Condition, David, Reborn Thistle, Duran Fan, Seek, Fast Eddie Boone, Sunshine, Happy Fun Times.
I'm waiting for you to get to Geisen. You didn't fist bump him.
Geisen, fist bump to you.
Fist bump to you, Geisen.
I'm just playing the award trailer here. Actually, it was an unedited award trailer. It's slightly different than the one we aired. So a little behind the scenes peek at the original one.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
There's some swanky animations you got. Very fancy stuff.
Hey, shout out to Marco, man. Marco helped me out big time this year. Shout out to Perp Games. Shout out to everybody who helped us. Thank you, every single person who helped make this show possible. Y'all have a great night.